Well, when I think about what inspired me to be a woman of influence, it's really about my mother and what she's done for me as a girl, and what I try to do is to pay it back to other girls and to think about what would I want as a girl, as a role model. And really it's about mentoring and having that someone to look up to in your life that can really show you the way forward. Well, the biggest challenge I think I face today is really how to grow and scale Room to Read and yet keep it real, as we say. Keep it to the core things that allowed us as a small nonprofit to be so wonderful. And I think a lot of it has to do with the innovation, the creativity, the entrepreneurism when we were small. And yet when you scale and you grow as rapidly as we have grown in the last 9 years, it's hard to still inculcate that organizational culture. And how do we continue to really make people feel entrepreneurial even though we're a bigger organization? And also how we do that across 9 countries. So Room to Read is working in Africa and Asia and trying to replicate an organizational culture across cultures is extremely difficult to do. Well, as I said, my parting thought from Gandhi, I think is really my advice that I'd love to leave the audience today. It's be the change in the world that you want to see. All of us have things that are important to us, whether it's environment, children, working with women, working with animals. It's things that we care about, and yet most of us don't get off the couch and actually do something about it. As I launched my career, I have to say I didn't have a lot of mentors. I worked in Goldman Sachs in investment banking, and there were a lot of people I didn't really want to be. So when I think about my second career, which is really moving into the nonprofit world, there I think about wonderful people like Muhammad Yunus, who started microfinance, and he is a story that is really, to me, very powerful from Bangladesh, and how to give back and how to create a scalable solution that works across so many cultures now. So I think about people like that, really social visionaries and entrepreneurs in their own right are people who have inspired me. I want to accomplish a world where every day, every single child wakes up and goes to school and has the basic human right that I feel that they deserve to receive a quality education. It is a crime to me that more than 300 million children today in this world wake up and don't go to school because they don't have a school to go to. And quite frankly, we are rich enough as a world, and we know how to educate children, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing it. Well, I have to say, and this is maybe sounds a little self-serving, but we have a great book on Room to Read called Leaving Microsoft to Change the World, written by my co-founder. And it's a really inspirational story. If you want to be a social entrepreneur and you want to start a nonprofit, you've got to read this book. The strong lesson I would say is really to go after your bliss, as you say, follow your bliss and do what you want to do and what you love to do. I think it's to me, so many people I meet in the world are not really happy in their jobs in many Western countries, and to be honest, that's a crime. And we have so much wealth in the countries we live in. We have so much opportunity, so much education. There's no reason that all of us shouldn't be doing what we love to do. The most successful thing I've achieved so far is definitely growing Room to Read. We went from nothing, and we had, we were working out of a coffee shop, scrounging for every dollar. We were all volunteers. We couldn't pay for anything, and yet we were trying to help Nepal and Vietnam in the early days with their educational system. From those early days, in just 9 years, we've scaled to an organization operating in 9 countries with thousands of investors or donors, helping over 3 million children. My favorite source of information is honestly books, travel books, kind of it's a broad category. But whenever I go to a new country, I always try to find 1 or 2 books written by somebody from that country that just talks about the history through the eyes of an individual or a family, and learn about that country, because you hear so much from people's individual stories. Yes, storytelling is, in many of the countries we work in, one of the great things that Room to Read does is you actually take those oral traditions and we turn them into books, because so few people actually write them down, and that becomes our children's books, because how we all learn is from the stories that our families tell us. And so we want to be able to actually document that and keep that as a tradition for many countries. What's next for me is I'm absolutely happy what I'm doing. There's many more children, unfortunately, that need Room to Read. So for me, it's about traveling the world, trying to grow the organization and be able to provide more children with the lifelong gift of education. I can't think of a better job that I'd rather do, so I'm perfectly happy where I am. And Room to Read is a key part of my life, and it's something that I hope to continue to be able to grow and scale.